Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Quirky in the Moments When I Was Not in a Hurry. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Quirky never woke up in a rush. While my alarm used to scream urgency into the room, Quirky greeted the morning as if time were a gentle river, not a ticking clock. He would stretch first, slowly, deliberately, front paws reaching forward, back arching like a sleepy cat pretending to be a dog. His tail wagged once or twice, not out of excitement, but acknowledgement. Yes, the day has arrived. No need to panic. On mornings when I wasn't in a hurry, I noticed him more. I noticed how he waited until I actually sat up before moving closer. I noticed how his ears tilted when I sighed, how his eyes followed my hands instead of my phone. When I didn't rush, Quirky didn't rush either. He matched my pace perfectly, like he had always been waiting for me to slow down enough to walk beside him. We had a small routine on those mornings. I would make coffee, and Quirky would sit exactly 3 steps away from the kitchen counter, not begging, not sleeping, just being there. The sunlight would fall on his fur in soft patches, turning him into a warm, breathing pillow of calm. Sometimes I stood there longer than necessary, holding my mug, doing absolutely nothing. Quirky seemed to approve. Outside, the street looked different when I wasn't in a hurry. The sounds were softer. A motorbike passed by, a bird argued loudly with another bird, and Quirky sniffed the same tree for what felt like 5 minutes. I used to pull the leash gently, urging him forward. But on days when I had nowhere urgent to be, I let him decide when we moved on. Those were the days I realized he wasn't wasting time. He was experiencing it. Quirky taught me something simple that mornings never had before. Moving slowly didn't mean being late to life. Sometimes, it meant finally arriving. Afternoons were usually when my mind raced the fastest. Messages to reply to, tasks half finished, thoughts stacked like unread emails. But whenever I allowed myself an afternoon without urgency, Quirky noticed immediately. He had a way of sensing it. If I sat on the floor instead of at my desk, he would come over with a toy, not to demand play, but to invite it. He placed it gently near my knee, then waited. No barking, no nudging, just patience wrapped in fur. When we played, Quirky played with full presence. He wasn't thinking about the next game or the next moment. The toy existed. I existed. That was enough. His joy wasn't loud. It was steady. A wagging tail, a soft growl, a look that said, "This is good. Let's stay here." Sometimes we didn't play at all. Sometimes we lay on the floor together, my back against the couch, his head resting on my leg. He breathed deeply, evenly, as if reminding my nervous system how breathing was supposed to work. In those moments, I realized how often humans confuse busyness with importance. Quirky had no calendar, no deadlines, and yet his presence made my life richer than any completed task ever had. In the late afternoon, when the light turned golden, we would sit near the window. Quirky loved that hour. He watched shadows move across the wall like they were telling him secrets. I watched him watch the world, and something inside me softened. Animals don't rush because they don't fear stillness. They don't fill silence to prove worth. Quirky didn't need to do anything to matter. He already did. Being with him during those unhurried afternoons reminded me that rest is not laziness. It's respect for your body, your mind, and the life quietly happening around you. There was a time when I believed slowing down meant falling behind. Life trained me well, faster replies, quicker steps, constant movement. But Quirky never seemed impressed by speed. He cared about direction, tone, and intention. One evening, after a long day, I sat on the floor instead of collapsing into stress. Quirky walked over, circled twice, and sat facing me. Not leaning, not touching, just close enough. I realized then that he didn't need me to be productive. He needed me to be present. From that day on, I began choosing slowness, not always, but intentionally. I chose to walk with Quirky without checking my phone. I chose to pause when he paused. I chose to listen when he communicated in ways without words. In return, he gave me something rare, unconditional companionship that didn't demand performance. Our relationship grew stronger in those quiet choices. He trusted me more. I trusted myself more. We existed as 2 different species meeting in the same rhythm, not rushing, not pulling, just moving together. Quirky didn't change my life by doing anything extraordinary. He changed it by showing me that love doesn't hurry. Care doesn't rush. Connection happens in the spaces we usually try to skip. Quirky and his unhurried way of living gently remind us of something modern life often forgets. Slowing down is not a weakness, it is a skill. In a world that celebrates speed, productivity, and constant motion, animals like Quirky show us the quiet power of presence. They don't rush through moments. They inhabit them fully. From Quirky, we can learn to respect our own pace. Not every walk needs a destination. Not every silence needs to be filled. When we slow down, we become more attentive, not only to animals, but also to ourselves and the people around us. We begin to notice emotional cues, body language, and needs that are invisible when we're always in a hurry. Practically, we can apply this by creating small pockets of slowness each day, walking without headphones, sitting with a pet without distractions, breathing deeply before reacting. When interacting with animals, patience and calm build trust far more than control or commands. Ultimately, Quirky teaches us that a good life isn't measured by how much we accomplish, but by how gently we move through the world, together. When humans learn to slow down, animals feel safer, relationships grow stronger, and life becomes quietly, beautifully meaningful.